Buckle up, excellence junkies, because this podcast is definitely for you. Welcome to Rockafuel. Do you wish that you could surround yourself with people that love to kick ass just like you? Well, come to my party, baby, and meet some of the brightest stars in the entrepreneurial galaxy, because it is my mission to give these entrepreneurs a platform to declare what they are on this planet to accomplish and to show you why they are rocket fuel. And we're live, guys. I just recorded this amazing episode that just caused a lot of introspection for me. And it was about what drives us as a leader. I mean, are we leading for success, or are we leading for significance? And my guest, Lauren Schiffer, is that correct?
Schieffer.
I messed it up last time and I apologize, but now I've corrected it. Lauren Schiffer, you are a leader of leaders, and you teach those leaders that have that drive to not only make the money, but to kind of leave impact. You help them do that. But tell me a little bit about what a significant leader is, and how did you even kind of get on this train of helping people tap into that significant leadership?
Well, let's talk about the difference between success and significance.
Yeah.
Most people are programmed to chase success. Success is very inwardly focused. It's about how much money we make and what our title is, what our accolades or accomplishments are. Success is about parking spots and trophies.
Gotcha.
Significance, on the other hand, is outwardly focused. Significance is about we. It has nothing whatsoever to do with how much money you make. Significance is about how many lives you touch and the manner in which you choose to impact them, because how we impact others is a choice. And my father, the colonel, was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force.
And I want to clarify, it's because you actually go also by the brand, The Colonel's Daughter.
That is my brand.
And so your father, the colonel, okay, tell us more about Dad.
He worked every day, one way or another. He tried every day to imbue in his daughters the importance of being significant. Dad always said, anyone can be successful, kiddo. Making money, climbing the corporate ladder, that's easy. Choose to be significant. And so I have taken that, and it has become a large part of my life's purpose, is teaching emerging leaders the difference between the old model generic hierarchical leadership and being a significant leader.
Right. And what's interesting is, you know, at first it's kind of like, well, I don't know, should I feel bad about wanting to be successful? The issue is, what I'm understanding from what you've taught me in the short amount of time, you know, that we've known each other, is that's just the model that we have been working in, right? So that is just what we're programmed to understand as success. But for some of us, there comes a point where you feel like you want something else, or there's like something missing, or can you tell me about how you can identify somebody that desires to be significant versus just to keep bringing home the paycheck?
Well, and let me clarify that when you strive for significant leadership, my experience has proven to me that success follows. So you can have both. You don't have to choose one or the other.
Okay.
Characteristics of people who choose significant leadership are those who put the needs of their team first. Those who might stay in a position rather than moving on to one that has a higher paycheck,
Mm,
because they see growth in their team and they want to continue nurturing that growth.
mm.
Those are characteristics of people who are yearning to be significant leaders, and maybe they are, they don't know it, or maybe they
Right.
don't even know how.
Well, and this is why I find it's interesting because, as somebody that may be listening, maybe wondering, I don't know if I'm this person, right? So I kind of want to delve deeper into that to say, hey, maybe that is what you desire to be. There just wasn't a label. And the reason why I wonder this is because when I think of when I left my corporate job, I was on a leadership path. I was being mentored, all this stuff. Again, I was going to continue to make big bucks. I was already making big bucks. And I realized that there was something about me. I wasn't happy. And I actually looked at the opportunity to be a leader of a team. And I said, you know what? If I'm not happy, then I'm actually going to impact their happiness. And I don't think it's the right decision. I want to be a leader, but I don't think it's the right decision to be this leader, to follow this path, because I know what it felt like to have a boss that wasn't happy with what where they were or what they were doing or whatever it was, and you could just kind of feel it. And so I just didn't want to be that kind of boss. And that was one of the triggers for me to say, well, I want to drive my own culture. I do want to be a leader, but for some reason it's not this. Now, I would not have thought of it as like, oh, I want to lead for significance. But from what you're telling me, what's interesting is what I did know is that what I was doing was against the grain of what somebody would typically do, because it's like, why wouldn't you take the job with a higher title, with more money and a team?
Mm-hmm.
And then I did this like weirdo thing and like jumped off the cliff and started my own company.
And look
So
how beautifully that has worked out,
yes, 16 years
right? Look
later.
how significant you have become.
I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. But honestly, with your guidance and your awareness, right? The awareness that you've brought to me, I'm like, oh, that's what I desire. I just don't think I ever put it in my brain that way. But and I know that you put some amazing principles of significant leadership together. And so I encourage you to listen to the longer episode, because we really get into that, and it's like super juicy stuff.
Yeah,
But
and you don't get it from just listening to this.
no, you don't. You don't. So listen to that longer one. I was so tempted to ask you to go over it. I'm like, no, no, no.
Yeah, no.
But I think when a leader listens to those things, if it resonates with you, right? If you find that you desire that there's something a little bit more that you want out of your opportunity to be a leader, you may be an emerging leader, you may be an existing leader, right? Then one, I recommend you listen to the longer episode. But you also put together this tool or this guide that leaders could use. And but it's interesting because it was focused on accountability.
Mhm.
And I wanted to ask you why you chose to help the audience related to accountability.
Because in my experience, I've been consulting on leadership for 25 years.
Mm.
And in my experience, the number one blind spot for leaders is their own personal accountability.
Mm. Oh, and so I want to clarify, because when I'm saying accountability, we were initially talking about, improving your team's accountability, and you were like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, no.
But accountability starts with
That
you.
that's why the title of that paper is Accountability. It starts with you,
Yep.
because you cannot expect your team to be accountable if you are not personally accountable. It will never happen. It just will not happen. And most people don't. A lack of accountability is rarely intentional.
Right.
And I've said this before. Most people don't wake up and say, I'm going to be a slacker this morning.
I think I want to sit on that point. I think that's important, because as a leader, you may get very frustrated with performance and output and such. And I think that's really important for us to understand. It's so easy to just get angry and potentially disrespectful to the people that actually are trying to do a good job. Of course, there may be some people that are slacking for some other reason, small percentage. Like you said, in most cases, nobody shows up saying, hey, I'm going to be a slacker today. And to remember that as a leader is actually really important. And it puts you in this state of empathy, right? And in kind of understanding what's driving the team. But you're saying, well, to even improve accountability amongst my team, I need to kind of check myself and see how I am as an example.
Yes. And a lack of accountability on the team's part is usually the result of a couple of key issues that are easily fixable at a leadership level. They're all leadership issues. So if we can fix those, first off, that makes the leader more accountable. Secondly, it makes the entire team more accountable.
Yeah.
So we talk about that in that paper.
Yeah. And so what I do want to throw out from a vibe energy perspective, we're not talking about that, okay, I hope you did all of these things perfectly because now forget it, there's no way you're going to be a significant leader. You may look back and say, I realize now that I did things that were not aligned with my intention of being significant. And at this point, it's just a matter of taking this as an opportunity to reflect and to decide which way we want to continue to be. And so that's what I'm asking you as a listener, as a Rocketeer, right? You're looking to up level yourself. If you are in a leadership position, you desire to be in a leadership position, because in the longer episode, you talked about behaving as a leader, as a significant leader, even before you have that position, right? Then I invite you to start with this really great guide, this paper that Lauren put together, called Leadership Accountability. And the way you receive it, every single episode gets a catchword, because we want to make sure that you're not just inspired and then you don't do anything about it. We want you to do something about it. So text RF-significance to 411321 if you are in the United States, okay? And that allows you to receive this paper instantly, this resource that is actionable. Guaranteed you're going to read it and change the way you interact with your team the next day, right? And other resources that are going to allow you to optimize team performance, because this isn't a soft skills thing. And we talked about this in the longer episode as well, and about calling things soft skills, but it's not a softy thing. It's literally, it does affect performance. It does affect revenue. It does affect outcomes, right? And so it's important to really kind of tap into these things that will not only affect those short-term goals, but could potentially impact the lives of the people that you're leading. I mean, could you, to me, what an honor it would be if somebody remembered how I led them and how I nurtured them in their journey. That's legacy. That's like, bam, like.
And coming back to your concept of not beating yourself up because, I haven't been doing this thus far. The Colonel always said, there are no bad decisions. There are opportunities for growth. There are lessons learned and opportunities for growth. So if anyone recognizes that they haven't been leading for significance thus far, it's an opportunity for growth. Why would you not take that opportunity?
Absolutely. And so take that opportunity to text RF-significance to 411321 if you're in the US. And I did not forget about you if you're outside of the US, because you can receive this resource too by texting to +1 909 741 1321. The keyword or the catchword is RF-significance. You put that in the message. And if the system asks you for your email address, please provide it, because that's how you're going to get this PDF here instantly in your email inbox. If for some reason we didn't ask, that means you must have texted another catchword for another episode, and we already have your email. So bam, 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 it's already there. All right. So I want to thank you so much, Lauren, for sharing this. I want to encourage the listeners. If you are a leader, emerging leader, if you desire leadership, it doesn't even have to be in your job. It could be in your community, right? Then listen to the episode. And this is your opportunity to start not only leading for success, right? But to lead for significance and impact. Lauren, any other final words aside from listen to the longer episode?
This has been just a joy. Just a joy being with you. And there are that's the final word. Listen to the longer episode because there are so many good nuggets. My 9 essentials of significant leadership, which you are not getting here.
They are some major value bombs. 9 value bombs plus this one. 10. That's a
10. There you go.
Value-packed episode. Well, thank you so
for
much.
Having me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. And for all of you Rocketeer listeners out there, I do hope that you have a rockin' day. Bye now. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. Look, every one of our episodes is boosted by a value-packed keyword called a catchword. Yeah. This allows our audiences to text to receive even more value from our guests. So take advantage of that great value. And if you share your expertise by guesting on podcasts or TV or speaking in front of live or digital audiences, then you're leaving anonymous fans behind. So go get a catchword at catchwords.com, KETCH words.com, and use podcast20 as a promo code for 20% off your setup fee. Look, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the Rocket Fuel podcast so you never miss your jolt of rocket fuel. Until next time, adios.